Please confirm my screen is visible or not.
Kaushik, your screen is not visible.
Yeah, not visible.
Not visible.
No.
Now, can you please confirm?
No, we can't see.
No, still not visible.
What happened? Oof. I have shared, but you can understand that the screen is showing. You're not still see my screen, right?
Still, we can't see. Kaushik.
Just a few minutes ago, I have shared my screen and session was going on. I don't know. I have to rejoin again, okay? I'll try to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, Kaushik.
I I think there's some problem might be happening in my laptop.
Kaushik, you can switch off one microphone.
What you guys doing? Still, I'm unable to share my screen.
Kaushik, if we can go ahead with some discussions for today, if that's possible.
That I can, but without sharing my screen, I try to make the interactive session, right? Right. So that
Right. Actually, I suppose it's because of the server. Actually, I had a word with the IT team
okay, okay.
and they're actually working on the server. So everyone is facing the problem, and same is the problem with my laptop. So I suppose you are also facing the same.
Yeah, also for a few minutes back, I also facing the same. Like Gmail was not
Correct,
log.
correct. Even my Gmail and everything is not working.
Okay, so what I'll do means continue the session with some theoretical discussion, right?
Whatever Kishore, Kurti, and Sahil agrees to.
Yes, yes. Give us some basic idea, and then
Yes, yes, that I can do it, but I cannot say on the screen that nothing.
yeah, that will be difficult.
What you can do, Kaushik, you can share the material with them maybe over the chat, and right now we can have a discussion. That works, right?
That I can share, but one by one I can discuss and enter the session, then I can share.
Then I suppose in that case, maybe we have to cancel today's session and we take it from tomorrow.
Yes. No, just they are coming. I just discuss some points, okay, and
Sure,
then
sure. Do that.
I
Yes, yes,
start
yes.
from the tomorrow these things because I share this thing, but that will not be relevant. I will discuss with my presentation mode. That is relevant and that I can discuss. Okay.
Yes, maybe we can have some discussion today and you can
Yeah,
start the
then I
sharing part.
just create some overview
Yes.
why this kind of thing happened, and then from tomorrow the
So
test will be
for
live.
now, you can maybe stop the recording. We don't need the recording for that, right?
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Or we need it, Kaushik.
No, no, you just keep the recording now because that session is there. So we until and unless means
Okay,
I just
okay.
uh,
Okay,
the
no
things
worries.
and then yeah.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay. So today's session you all know that React unit test case, right? But before going to that React, that why test case is required? Can anybody has any idea why we are going to make that test case and why it is very becoming very popular nowadays? You can also speak.
Yeah.
To improve the code quality.
Yes.
To improve the code quality.
So means Sahil, you want to share
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about it?
Test cases,
Yes.
we wrote test cases. So see, if we add some functionality to our application or something like that, if we wrote test cases for that functionality, then we make sure that that functionality is working fine, and also
Yeah.
that because of the test cases, that coverage, code coverage also increases, and our code
So
quality also improved.
yes, yes. So what happened when before writing this type the test case, okay? A test case is not used for only React application. Every software life cycles, everywhere. Whenever we create the Android app, it might be Angular, anywhere. When we write the code, first of all, what happened means that before introducing the test cases, the project was working as a waterfall method. Means you are writing your code, you can deploy your code, and then you can start your testing as per the business requirement. Okay, so that time so many legacy of code and so many bugs were happened, and that might not be solved at a time, and that might and it cannot be optimized to it, right? So nowadays the process is a agile process. When we are working in a agile mainstream process, that means small chunks we are going to create, some sprint we are going to create, and inside the sprint we are creating the applications oriented tickets and also the test case means that we are trying to before going to deploy that projects inside the server or that business environment, we are make sure our code, whatever we write in the application, that is perfectly running and their optimization percentage is highly tolerable. So that is the use case of test cases. Okay. So we are writing the test case to make sure that whatever the problem might be come when that real use case scenarios might be happen that time. So we are just precautions on that, and we are making our code make user friendly and optimized way that bugs and that business use case should not be hampered. Bugs should not become right.
Yes, coach.
And that is that there is differences between the unit test case. There are three type of test case. That is unit test case, one is integration test case, and
Your voice is break.
hardly it's under there is three type of test cases. Okay, one is
Yes.
unit test case, another is integration test case, another is end-to-end test case that we follow every SDLC project. Every software development life cycle, there are three types of test case. So unit test case is a underlying layer, the third layer. First, we are going to do these things. After our unit test case is working perfectly in my environment, that is called also isolated testing. Isolated testing means only we are targeting to optimize that code. Whatever we write inside the component, whatever we write without the wrapper of the component, that code base I want to I target isolatedly and working perfectly. That's why the test case is there. And that is the third layer. That is called your unit testing. Our unit test case will be success. Then the second step, your integration testing. Integration testing means your backend, your front end, all applied over here. That is called a summation of integration testing. That is called integration test. Okay, so your in last it's come that is your UI test case and also end-to-end test case. End-to-end test case means everywhere load testing should come, your smoke testing, regression testing, all type of testing should come over there. So that's why there is three difference of the test case. Okay, that anybody can comment anything on that.
Yes, yes, understand.
Okay,
Yes.
No, coach.
and one more thing that I want to told that what is the purpose of unit test case? Purpose is your uh, prevent regressions, means every time, means when we write the test case, the reusability we want to increase, and that time we cannot consider that this type of code I am written from 2 or 3 months ago. Now the code should not be working perfectly in the demo in the production environment. So that's why this is prevent the regression. So every time we are going to write some test case, and we are going to establish that our connections with that component and my view and whatever logic we are going to implement it, that is okay for my side. That test case we can produce, and that test case we can also consume that this way that our there is no bugs, there is no component is user friendly, and we can move around on this kind of things. So prevent our regression, and we can also faster feedback while developing. We while develop that we can understand that forecasting powers. We can understand the insight to how whatever we are writing that is working or not until and unless our code should not be moving forward. So we can understand on the on spot this test case, right? So that's why the test case is there. If you are not writing the test case, your code should be there. But while going to test in the business environment or business scenarios, that time so many codes should not be working, so bugs should become, and that's a hazy and user not user friendly on environment should not be there. So we are following here the TDD, test driven development environment. While we are writing the code, that time we are going to establish that our code is okay with the test case we are produced. Test case you are also called that is a forecasting of your element, right? Whatever we can write that we can also understand from our code base that is working or not. So that is the purpose of the unit test cases. And one unit test case why you are using that is improve our code base. That is not only for React. This is a top layer when wherever we can use in the Angular, we can use in the React, we can use the Vue, any JavaScript framework, and not only the JavaScript or front-end framework, we are using it in the backbone or the backend side also, the Java, PHP, all. So better organization of our code base, more maintainable. We can also maintain these things. We can also use these things, and we are also implement the bug-free environment in our code base. So that is the purpose of the code base. Okay, and what is called the test-driven development? You know, anybody can told me that what is the test-driven development? Any idea?
Test even development means like uh, that when writing code in simultaneously we wrote test cases also, I guess.
And what is code-driven testing? Testing.
Code driven testing.
Code. Yes, code-driven testing. What is the difference between code-driven testing and the test-driven testing?
No idea.
So in the code-driven testing means our writing only the enough code. Okay, we are writing the code. We are going to test after entire code is written. After that, we are going to test. That time, the probability of bugs, probability of non-linear execution, the probability of your maintainable code, that should not be perfectly working. So what we are doing in the code driven testing, we are writing the test case at the end of our entire code base. Okay, so this code base might means their probability of false chances might be high. We cannot refactor these things, right? But in the
Yes.
test-based testing, we are refactoring the test cases, right? When we are writing the test, that time we are understanding that the probability percentage, how much the code should be working, how much code is robust, how it is working in the environment, user environment, the environment friendly test case, environment friendly code we are writing or not. So that is the difference within the test-driven development. The probability is much lower, means the false probability much lower in the test-driven development. It's a process. Whenever we are going to process means it is a summation of some steps, it is a summation of layers. Okay. So this is the test case, means that we are writing the code, we are writing the test case, we are writing the assumptions, we are writing the your nested loops, nested test case. So that is called the process. Some process, the business user case will also come. You are going to test these things, and also the tester also be there. So many process are involved inside the test, and you can only manage the environment when your environment is test driven. Means data, once example is a data driven decision, right? Data driven decision means we are going to establish our decision making idea through on the basis on data. And the same thing is a test driven development, means our development is basically stands on the testing environment. So we're first priority testing, and then writing the code, and then priority the testing. And also the same process, this is an agile process. In this process, we're writing the test case, and that time we'll understand that probability power, how much it can be executable, how much the lesser the bugs will come or not. That is called the test driven development. Okay.
Yes.
And the process of test driven development is there is 5 steps. 5 steps means you can writing your function, writing your test case. And it's also called a red green testing environment. Means red green, why? Because sometimes your test case might be passed, sometimes your test case might be not passed. So this is also called a red green testing environment. So you're writing your code and your test will be passed. The 5 step process we follow in the test driven development criteria in that process. Okay. So in the next day, we are going to establish some test case, not the React. First, we are going to create some normal test case in the JavaScript. Okay, the node through the node modules, because I told that test driven your test case not only be applicable in the React everywhere. So first we are going to establish that this test case function in that normal node-based environment, and then we can establish that how it will work. We can also produce a report. We can also generate the report from that environment. Okay. So
Okay.
next day we are also going to discuss these things, and after that we are going to establish the things in the React environment how we are going to write. Okay. Test and React has provided two framework. One is Jest, another is Engine. So this is something is there. We can also explore these things in future session. Okay. Any
Okay.
questions?
Yeah, I have one question. That you said there are five steps of test cases.
Test,
Uh,
no, test. This is a process. Five process of TDD. This is
okay,
a
okay,
process, not the cases. Okay. There is a difference. Process means combination of something, and that is also called process. Okay. After
okay,
this creating this process, your entire TDD will be created. Is a process. Okay.
okay, okay.
Process means your initialization steps should be there, your test case should be there, writing code should be there, and one by one your decision making will be come out. Your how many tests you are going to pass, how many test cases is going to fail, and why it is going to fail. This is on the analysis. Okay, why you are
Yes.
writing these things? Because nowadays we are all working in scalable architecture project, right? Scalable architecture means what? Today I have 2 page web application or 3 pages web application. Tomorrow it can be 10. Tomorrow it can be 100,000. So how we can maintain our code base, right? So that time, if your pages is 100 pages or your application is a component of 1,000 pages, so we cannot configure we cannot uh, target the where our code base is not working. Why the problem? Why the fault tolerance is there? We cannot understand these things in the last environment. That is called a code driven. So where code is getting first priority and your test case will get the less priority. But in the test driven environment, that is reverse. Where probability of test driven development is high. That because we are going to emphasize our own skill set on the test driven development, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we are producing the quality of code from the test driven development. You are sure that your code does what we expect. And that way you are customize your tailor-made code base you are creating. You are creating some tailoring. Means the code base what you are writing, that is not waterfall method. That is a agile methodology you are working inside the test driven development. And you want to focus more on your code quality, not the total environment. It's a combination of some components is a combination of some process. Then your total environment of that can be your production, that can be your demo. This environment will be created. But first we target these things. This is my code, and how many process we can follow, and what is the problem that might be coming in future that we can prevent this way. That is the process. Okay.
Okay.
You understand your requirements, you understand your design, you understand your code quality, and you build thinking on that, and then you write your test case. That is the process of a test driven development. Any questions?
No, no.
No question. Proceed.
Okay. So tomorrow we can explore these things. Okay, because today some problem will be there. We cannot explore the code, the writing page. So tomorrow we'll going to write some test cases and going to and we'll understand the process how it is working. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Kaushik.
Yes, yes, proceed.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. All.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.